Book of Matthew was originally written in Greek.
The Gospel of Matthew was written for a Jewish Christian audience.
The symbol associated with the Gospel of Matthew is a winged man, or an angel, because it represents the incarnation of God in the salvation that followers of Christ want to achieve. The Gospel of Matthew was written in the 80s or 90s CE. It was after the death of Jesus and the destruction of Jerusalem. The impact of Jesus was that Matthew presented Jesus as a teacher that was more influential than Moses, and of a background of the Jewish faith to try to attract Jews. The Jews were in a time of struggle after Jerusalem was destroyed and they were being pushed out of their homes.
It is important to know that tax collectors at the time were considered social outcasts. They were hated by the Jews, and in the Gospels they were portrayed as sinful and despised. Matthew would become one of Jesus' 12 apostles. They spent a lot of time together and traveled very far together. Matthew can be considered an eyewitness source. Many of the stories in the Gospel of Matthew are of Jesus' healing. Matthew, also known as Levi, was probably already familiar with Jesus' teachings. Matthew met Jesus in the streets in the city of Capernaum by the Sea of Galilee, shortly after Jesus healed a paralyzed man. As it says in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 9, verses 9 through 10, as Jesus went from there, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the tax collector's booth. "Follow me," he told him, and Matthew got up and followed him.
The overall goal of Matthew's writings was not only to provide chronicle events from the life of Jesus, but also to prove to the Jewish people that Jesus is the Messiah.
Jesus dies, and a few years later the Book of Mark is written. In 64 CE, a great fire destroys Rome. Around 30 years after the death of Jesus, a war broke out between Jewish people and the Roman Empire. In 70 CE, the Romans burned the Jewish temple to the ground, while they killed many in Jerusalem. The temple was a center of Jewish religious, social, and political life.